Hi folks, just continuing on from the straight line work that we've been doing. This video is on triangles and medians. Again, you're going to need your blank notes in front of you to copy down as we go along. So at the top of your notes you'll see a wee definition of what the median of a triangle is. Basically it's a line drawn from any of the three vertices to the midpoint of the opposite side. Usually if you see a question on this, they'll call the point of contact on the other side M for midpoint as a nice wee reminder. So it's a midpoint here. So the median drawn from B goes to the midpoint of AC. But there are two other medians in this triangle, so there are three medians in total in any triangle. So the median from A, for instance, would come across like so to the midpoint of BC. And then the median from C would go from C across to the midpoint of AB. So three different medians. They'll always be very clear which one they're looking for. So say the median from B, the median from A would be the green one, or the median from C would be the blue one here. Okay, but the important point is that it comes to the midpoint of the opposite side. So in order to work out the median, the equation of a median, there are three things we need to do. First of all is to find the midpoint of the side opposite the given point. So like I said, they might ask you, find the median from B. In that case, you're looking at the side opposite B and the midpoint of that side. So in this case, opposite B would be here. So we'd be looking for the midpoint of AC first. That gets us a point here, and we'll have the point B anyway. And that means that we can then go ahead and work out the gradient of that line. Just remember, for the equation of any line, we need a point and a gradient. So we need the gradient. And then part 3, we just substitute. Once we've got the gradient, and we'll have one of the point, or we'll have 2 points now, we substitute into y minus b equals mx minus a, and that will get us the equation of our line. So we'll go and do a wee example here. So this is in your notes, page 4, and it's find the equation of the median from D for a triangle with the vertices D, E and F. Now, you will generally be given a diagram, but if you don't have a diagram in any of the practice questions you do, I would recommend just drawing just any random triangle, just to get just so you can get an idea of what the median might look like. So I'm just going to sketch a wee triangle here. Doesn't matter what it looks like. This is again just to get an idea of what points I need to use. So I'll call one D, one E, and one F. And I want the median from D. So that's what I want to work out. Okay, so let's see if we can draw in the median from D. So hopefully you're doing this along with me, and you can maybe have a go at trying to draw the median from D. But that's a line drawn from D, and it will go to the midpoint of the opposite side. Put a wee M just to remind me. So it's a line like that. And it's the equation of that red line. That red line is the median. So it's the equation of that red line that I'm looking for. So we've drawn our median in. Now, equation of a line, we need a point on the line. So we have the point D already. And we need the gradient of the line. Now, for the gradient, well, we don't have 2 points in the line yet. So it might be worthwhile, because we know how to work out the midpoint. Let's see if we can get the midpoint of EF, which will be the point M. So first thing to do, this is step 1. And this is working out the point M, or the midpoint. And what I'll do in my solution actually is I'll write midpoint EF, just so if you're looking back in your notes you know exactly what I'm working out. So this is the midpoint of EF. Okay, so the points E and F are 8, negative 2 and 2, 0. So what I'll do just above it is I'll put these two coordinates in. So E was a point 8, negative 2, just so I make sure I'm using the right coordinates here, and F is a point 2, 0. Label them x1, y1, x2, y2. And then go to my midpoint formula. So my midpoint formula says x1 plus x2 over 2 and y1 plus y2 over 2. Okay, putting in my information, so that's 8 add 2 over 2, and that's negative 2 add 0 over 2. Just following this down, if I work them out, 8 add 2 is 10, divided by 2 is 5, and negative 2 add 0 is still negative 2, divided by 2 is negative 1. So we get a midpoint of 5, negative 1. So now we know the point D and we know the point M, which means we can now work out the gradient of this line. So what I'm going to do is, you'll see we've got another wee part of this question we're doing, so this is step 2. Hopefully I have enough space here. This is step 2. Now we're going to use the gradient formula. So this is the gradient, a lowercase m, of dm, and I'll put a wee subscript here, dm, just to remind me that it's d and m that I'm using. And again, like I did before with my points, I'll just put my points at the top just to remind me. So I'm using D and M now. So the point D is 4, 5. And the point M is what we just worked out, 5, negative 1. Label your points, x1, y1, x2, y2. And then straight to your gradient formula now. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Continuing on, y2 negative 1 subtract 5 over 5 subtract 4. Negative 1 take away 5 is negative 6. 5 take away 4 is just 1, which simplifies to negative 6. So our gradient is negative 6. We have 2 points in the line now, we have D and M, so we've got a point in the line, and we also now have the gradient, which means we can move on to step 3, which is to find the equation. So this is using my y minus b formula to get the equation of a line. And again, what I'll do just above, I'll just write down the information I've got. So in some cases where I've got maybe a part A and a part B in a question, I might have another gradient somewhere, but I'm going to make sure I'm going to write above what gradient I'm using. So this is the negative 6 I worked out. That's the gradient of dm, the gradient of the median that I want. And the point I'll use, I can use D or M. Let's try and pick the easier one. So I'll get 4, 5 or 5, negative 1. I'll maybe pick 4, 5 is my point. Again, you could have picked the other one. Call that A, call that B. Okay, and then from there, just put my information. So y minus 5 equals negative 6, x minus 4. And I just need to expand and simplify. So y minus 5 equals negative 6x plus 24. Add 5 to both sides. Y equals negative 6x plus 29. And again, like we said previously in class, you can leave this in any order you want. You can put all your x's over this side as well, or as long as you have these 3 terms in it, that's all matters. Okay, so there is some practice on Teams you can have a go at.